I 30M met an amazing girl F25 after getting out of a toxic relationship and promptly ducked it all up. About 6 months ago I got out of a 5 years relationship. The main problem being communication and trust. She would never want to talk about anything that had to do with our relationship, and cheated on me at least once towards the end. I've always been incredibly communicative and tried for years to get her to talk more about her feelings, thoughts, or anything that was relevant to our relationship. I never tried to change who she was as a person, only our ability to communicate so we could be a better couple. Ultimately my efforts were futile, eventually causing me to become more shut in, less open to talk about my feelings, and incredibly untrustworthy of myself. After our final breakup, I went 4 months without a single date, talking stage, hookup, anything of that sort. Eventually I met a girl, asked her out. On the first night I established that I was still scared of a relationship and didn't trust myself. She was fine with it, but stated that she would eventually be looking for a relationship. After that first night together we had an immediate connection and started seeing each other consistently. She was everything I had been looking for in a partner. Her personality, her lifestyle, her style of intimacy, her sense of humor, how genuine, kind and honest she was. Everything I could see in her was a massive green flag, without any red ones. During the 2 months we saw each other she would occasionally drop hints that she wanted to be together, and they always made me feel equally excited as much as they made me nervous. Instead of telling her I felt the same, I kept my feelings to myself. Not trusting my sense of attachment due to my previous relationship. I was afraid of her only being a rebound girl, or me getting with as a distraction from the work I needed to be doing on myself. Regardless, we continued to see each other, where I would grow even more attached and attracted to her in every way. Good morning night texts, talking all day, driving long distances to see each other, etc. 1 week her communication unexplainably became lessened. Half a day would pass without her responding, texts were less enthusiastic, among other things that indicated something was happening on her end. Eventually we planned to spend the night together, where she said she didn't want to see me anymore because she wanted something serious and that I wasn't ready. I freaked out inside, wanting to tell her that I did want something serious. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. It sounded like she was already set on her decision, and I didn't want to spend our last date together trying to convince her to keep seeing me. All of the times I wanted to say how I felt and didn't were hitting me like mental bullet train. But I was so afraid of getting into another fight or argument about a relationship that I couldn't bring myself to say that I didn't want her to leave my life. Less than a week after that day I texted her and asked if we could talk in person. She said that if it was about being in a relationship her answer was no, that she had went on an amazing date with someone who did say that they were looking for a relationship right off the bat. She said that if they don't work out we could try again, but that she wanted to see this connection with someone else through first, and that I needed to find work on myself as well. I told her I'd do just that, work on myself, and be ready to try again if she and the other person didn't work out. But I'm ducked up. I've never been this emotionally broken over someone who I knew for such a short period of time. I cry multiple times a day, yelling in my car or my pillow. Memories or moments that we spent together, times she gave me hints about getting serious, and all kinds of thoughts about her hit me all day long, and it takes every ounce of self-control I have not to physically react to them. I know that reaching out to her anytime soon isn't a good idea, and I'm honestly not even sure what advice I'm looking for on here. I just feel so ducking stupid for letting something so amazing slip through my fingers simply because my last relationship rewired my brain so that I'm terrified of talking about my feelings or what I need. As of now I'm planning on texting her in a few months if she doesn't reach out to me first. Simply to say that I still want to try again and that I hope all is well with her. As well as mentioning that if she is still with that other person that responding isn't necessary. Any feedback about this whole situation would be greatly appreciated. Anything will help. Redditor's reaction story 2 after. Redditor 1, she sounds amazing, but it's also possible that you're seeing her in such a positive light because at least she's better than your ex. This is not to put her down but to make you realize that you do need to work on yourself and being alone for a while. Learn to love and trust yourself again. Learn to express your needs and opinions. Whether it works out with her eventually or not, at least you were able to see that a better relationship is possible for you. Redditor 2, I just feel so ducking stupid for letting something so amazing slip through my fingers simply because my last relationship rewired my brain so that I'm terrified of talking about my feelings or what I need. This is the ultimate learning moment. Rarely do you know exactly what contributed to an issue. But in this case, you know. She told you what she wanted, and you couldn't commit to it. And the learning from this is that you really do need to be sufficiently moved on in order to truly commit to somebody. You clearly were not moved on, so it's less about ducking up and more about not taking enough time to properly process the breakup. The last thing you want to do is bring baggage from a previous relationship into a new one. As of now, I'm planning on texting her in a few months if she doesn't reach out to me first. Simply to say that I still want to try again and that I hope all is well with her. As well as mentioning that if she is still with that other person, that responding isn't necessary. You should just message her now, what you told us. Basically being totally honest about what your mindset was, and how much the decision is affecting you now. She is obviously free to move on, but I think you owe it to yourself to just tell her exactly what you're thinking. How she uses that info is up to her, but I think it's worth being honest. Having said that, you probably shouldn't have any expectation that she responds. So send it off, then prepare to move on with your life. If she comes back with a favorable response, then great. I've seen many instances where a couple is together for a long time, and she wants to think about kids' marriage. The guy continues to make excuses and delays things, which ultimately destroys the relationship. Then, she meets a new guy who is all about marriage and kids, so they get married and have kids. When you have a mission goal, you shall achieve that by any means necessary. That's the reality of these situations. Op answer, you should just message her now, what you told us. Basically being totally honest about what your mindset was, and how much the decision is affecting you now. She is obviously free to move on, but I think you owe it to yourself to just tell her exactly what you're thinking. How she uses that info is up to her, but I think it's worth being honest. I want to and have been getting this feeling I can't shake that she wants me to text her, that the person she is now seeing isn't working out, and that if I reinstate how I feel and what I want, she'll respond positively to it. But I'm also so afraid that it'll come off as too vulnerable, weak and too much. Especially after sending her a bunch of paragraphs explaining my feelings and that I'd want to be with her a few days after she broke it off. I'm so afraid of pushing her farther away with unnecessary contact that I can't bring myself to do it. It feels like if I try to contact her, it's a flip of the coin of either. It shows her that I'm still here, want her more than ever, and understand why she left. Or, it freaks her out, makes it seem like I'm too attached, and permanently pushes her away from me. Redditor 3, I know this hurts, but it also is a growth moment. The next time you feel such a great connection with somebody, and you definitely will again, even if you don't feel like it right now, you will not be so reticent to share how you feel and begin an official relationship. You will remember this ache right now, and let that propel you to opening up and embracing the potential of a new relationship. I also think what is making it hurt extra is that this relationship felt like it had a lot more potential than your previous one, and feeling like that opportunity is lost really hurts. But you will find that connection again with somebody else, and it can be even better because you will be more ready for that relationship. Story 2, she 39F ended it with me 40 meters. So, me and I'll call her C were together for 15 years and have 7-year-old child together. Our relationship had gone downhill over the last year due to me having depression and C dealing with a death in the family she can't get over. Our S-time life was non-existent. Whenever I tried, I would be knocked back. She said this was because she had a low S-time drive. So I moved out to stay at my parents' last Wednesday. We were talking and trying to keep things amicable for our little one, and it seemed to be working. That was until yesterday when I went back to the home to see my daughter. We have CCTV in the house and I don't know why, but I had a feeling something was going on, so I checked it for the Friday night when my little one was not there and staying with me. I skipped through quickly and what I saw made me feel sick. She was kissing and being injured by our married neighbor and friend. This is 3 days after splitting up. I confronted her and she said I had no right to check and that we weren't together and it was a mistake and it only happens the once. I don't know how far they went as I only seen maybe 10 seconds of it. I lost the plot and had a go at her and told her I don't want him anywhere near my little one. He was dropping her off to school in the mornings for us until this happened. I spoke to him on the phone and basically told him he should stay away from my little one or I would tell his partner, who is also our friend. Our kids are friends and play together regularly. Now I don't know what to do. Do I keep her dirty little secret so it doesn't affect my child, or do I tell his wife? I feel like it's the right thing to do, but it would no doubt affect my child and split up a large friendship group they all have. I'm not making myself out to be an angel, as I've been moody and snappy for around 3 months and I can understand her wanting to break up. The day this happened, she told me she wasn't interested in anyone else and she needed time to get her head together. The sad thing is I still really love her and I feel so betrayed by this. Sorry for the ways it's wrote, my head is spinning. What do I do? Story 3. Told my friend's girlfriend he's cheated on her many times via an anonymous account. She wants to know who I am and how I know. Pretty much what the title says. My friend has been getting with people a lot, either via his own means or when we're on nights out. He's had a GF for 2 years and despite this he's been getting with others. Since finding out I've been wondering if I should tell this girl as she seems quite in love with him. Also, it's not just a one-time thing, it's a constant thing he does. He does keep saying he loves this girl and would marry her but never tell her about what he's done. I made a post on here before and the consensus seemed like I should have and was a bad person for not. Eventually after a few more times of him doing that I decided to reach out anonymously. She wants to know who I am or have a discussion over the phone etc. but I rather keep it discreet. Do I keep it this or wash my hands now that I told her? Update: I sent a final message with the Instagram of a girl he slept with and said take it or leave it, but I thought I had to tell you. My hands are washed from now. Story 4. My 24M ex's 24F current boyfriend trying to contact me, and I feel weak. Around 5 months back I broke up with my GF of 4 years after finding out that she was cheating on me for the past 1 year. It was an LDR towards the end, and I basically ended it on the phone. The guy with whom she cheated on me knew about us all along and they were hooking up behind my back. I was shaken up to the core and was furious on her for breaking my trust. All in all, the whole process of separation was a complete mess with a lot of heated arguments and harsh words to say the least. The thing is, her current boyfriend is as unstable as she is, and I don't know why but they have some sort of vendetta against me. He keeps on trying to contact me even though I have blocked all of their phone numbers. I'm trying to go very hard on the no contact thing, but each time I see the blocked number notification I'm reminded of my situation and I get weak in my knees. My ex knows I'm an emotional guy and how bad this breakup would have affected me. That's why she is teaming up with her current boyfriend and trying to contact me in order to mess with my head. I always think about calling them back, telling them to leave me the hell alone, but doing that will most likely lead to yet another fight and more emotional wounds for me. I have a career ahead of me and I really don't want to get myself involved in petty fights, especially with people like my ex, who have nothing to lose. What do I do? Do I keep ignoring the calls? Will this feeling of powerlessness get better with time? Edit: I have read all the comments, and I thank the community for being so supportive. Apparently I'm not alone and many people have experienced similar situation. I'll definitely defeat this, and get up on my feet stronger than ever. I again thank everyone. Story 5. My ex walked into my bar, current GF PWBPD still won't let me live it down long. 2 years ago my ex 27F walked into the bar I 24F was working at. I was in a relationship with my current GF 25F already 2 months at this point. Current GF and I had a theoretical conversation very early on. She brought it up about if this situation were to ever occur. She had expected me to completely shut down my ex, deny her service, and give her the boot out the door. At the time, I had agreed because well, I guess I never expected it to actually happen. I knew it'd make her happy and in hindsight it was easier said than done. Big mistake on my behalf. So I'm just finishing up my shift one day. And my ex walks in. I freeze for a moment. She asks me if we can talk. I motion her over to the other side of the bar as I had a full bar on the other side. She comes over, I ask what she wanted. She tells me about how she did start dating this other girl a month prior to this but they were on a break because she wasn't in a place to be with someone else right now. And then she starts pouring her heart out to me. She probably talked for 10-15 minutes about how she loves and misses me and she's hurting over us still. Said she wanted to give us another chance if I was willing etc. I didn't speak, I just stood there still kind of in shock and let her finish. She then asks if I'm truly happy with my current partner, because if I'm not and I want to go then she'll take me and help me pack all of my things up and we could go. I told her I was happy where I was at the time and shut her down. She asked, "Are you sure?" And I nodded my head yes. She said okay. Well, if you ever change your mind then you know where to find me. Have a good night, maybe see you around sometime. Turned around and walked out. As I said, I was finishing up my shift so I waited until she left the parking lot and I went out to my car. From there, I went straight to my current GF's work and explained everything that happened. She absolutely lost it on me, screaming and crying and hitting things because I didn't handle the situation the way she needed me to. I apologized until I was blue in the face. She had said that night we were done, but took me back before the night was through. So we've been together another 2 years since that night, and let me tell you, it's been a constant emotional roller coaster. Breakups and makeups and fighting. I do completely understand that I hurt her, I went against what she had wanted and such. I still feel extremely guilty for hurting her and beat myself up for it often. I'm trying to work through those feelings though, so I'm not so hard on myself, because as much as I wish I could go back in time and change it, I know I can't. See? The thing is though is that she brings it up every time we fight, anytime she's annoyed, anytime I try and speak to her about something she's done that has hurt or upset me. And she uses it as an excuse for her own behavior every single time, like, well, if it wasn't for what you did. I'm torn because on one hand I feel as though I deserve all the acid she has to throw at me. I sit there and take it. I listen to what she has to say, how she feels, I agree with her and still apologize every single time. I don't excuse or justify myself. But on the other hand, at what point have I suffered enough? We go through it several times a week. She refuses to trust me. She has access to my location at all times. She goes through my phone. She monitors my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat friends, who I talk to and where I go. I have appointments in the city my ex lives in every few weeks, and I can't even step foot in that city by myself. I have to be accompanied by my current GF, or else she shifts into this belligerent state and threatens to break up with me, among other things. She has tried to set ultimatums and convince me to stop going to these appointments because of their location. It isn't around the block from my ex, it's on the other side of town. Next month I start college, switching from online courses to in-person in the next city over from my ex's. So my GF is paranoid about that and also doesn't want me to talk to or spend any time with my classmates or anyone I meet outside of school. She has told me that she fully expects me to meet someone else while I'm attending college and cheat on her and or leave her for them. I can rarely even leave the house to visit my own family without her having to accompany me because she doesn't trust me. The irony in all of this is that I currently spend most of my days home, alone, studying. I barely talk to or see anyone outside of her family or my family. I haven't seen any of my own friends in, well, over a year now at least. I'm tired and exhausted, and I've never felt so awful about myself. She's told all of her friends and our friends about this, and she tells me that apparently they all think very low of me for this. So I guess I'm looking for thoughts and perspectives from true outsiders that don't know either of us. Do I really deserve all of this? To this extent? Where do I draw the line? Story 6. Wanting to get revenge on my wife. I'm wanting to get revenge on my wife. Backstory: my wife has cheated twice in our relationship that I know of. First with her ex-boyfriend. Can't go into details, worried she will see this. The second is where she worked at. She met another guy and I found out through her coworker. I was devastated. The love of my life for the second time broke me, trust in everything I've given her. Everything she told me from the beginning she has done to me. She comes from an ex that was a mind-controlling man. It has been a couple of years since she has cheated on me. For everything I know, she isn't going behind my back, but I can't feel like I need to get my revenge. Am I in a shoal for wanting to get revenge after a couple of years of being back to normal with my wife? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, just see an attorney and move on. There's no time limit on how you feel. Just tell her you've never forgiven her and you need to split. Redditor 2, your biggest mistake was staying with her after she cheated on you 2 times. Are you watching her now? Because chances are she's cheating on you again. She's just gotten better at hiding it. Divorce her and move on. She's not worth your love and devotion. Redditor follow-up, I agree with you. Also, I think Op has not truly forgiven her like he thinks he has. If he truly has, he wouldn't be seeking revenge. Redditor 3, revenge is leaving and having a good life without her. She has cheated twice and so far faced no consequences. Odds are she is still cheating now, but just better at hiding it. If you cheat back, she won't care. She has no respect for you anyway.